I do always start with like the home. So I always start with is the home on its own just this viral, beautiful home? And chances are that's not the case, but that can happen. So if you've got this beautiful viral home that is good on its own, awesome, like box checked. But I will usually start with the location in the neighborhood. So if let's say you sell a ton of new builds, let's say you're in a community or in an area where the homes are all newer, start with like, is it walkable to the pool? Is it walkable to a park? Is it next to a park? Start with something, get as micro as possible within the neighborhood and start there. Like, I don't care if it's next to like a greenbelt park. Use that because it's great for dogs. It's great for kids. You can showcase so much with just that one draw of the home. And if it doesn't have that, then I go more hyper local. Like what is the surrounding area like? Lately, I've been pulling in some local businesses. So the one that you used on your announcement for this class, I did what I have 3 local businesses that I went there, I filmed there on the front end of the video, and then I tagged them. Most of them reshared. So if you can't draw from the home in the neighborhood, draw from the local businesses, and you'll eventually find something. And even if, like, let's say you're selling a home that is heavy new build, you're competing with the builders, then play up the fact that the backyard's done and the home builder is dirt, right? Go sit in the backyard, have somebody sitting in a chair in a dirt backyard, like hating their life. And then on the flip side, you're in your listing in the backyard and it's done.
I love
There's
that.
always a draw, right? And it's, I think too, a lot of times, probably I'm also trying to figure out what problem this home will solve for somebody.
I love that. And I like the when we were talking beforehand, I like the fact that the one where you had your daughter in it in the YouTube video, it was right behind a school, which could be a big turnoff. Because if someone doesn't have a kid, it's like, okay, do I want to be next to a noisy elementary school, kids playing and screaming on on the playground? But if you can put a kid in there, showing them
Yeah.
scooting, on their scooter going straight to the school, that's like perfect. Because who would want to live right next to a school, a family with, kids walking? So
Yep.
I love just the fact of like also leaning into a problem house, that you just because like I said, I've had other people on here before, like Roland Osage and different people that are like, oh, I got these cool mid-century modern homes, and a lot of mine are like the boring cookie cutter new construction in the suburbs with white walls that all kind of look alike. So I love the fact of, just like what makes it different versus the other homes, whether it's like the yard's finished or it's right near the pool or whatever. I just like how you can kind of figure out what's unique that makes that home a little bit better or different.
And I think like it's a big part of what I say in a listing appointment too, is I use the phrase like every home has a story, right? And it's really allowed us to take, we get a lot of expireds too because of this. So it's really easy for us to take the property that backed to a school, expired listing. Got that. I'd done a horse video. She saw that, called. They had been on the market for 6 months. They weren't getting any showings. So we're blessed that we're getting a lot of expireds, but at the same time, there's usually something that's causing them to be an expired. Sometimes it is bad marketing to begin with. Other times it's that it backs to a school, and we have to be able to take that and pivot it and work with it. So yeah, that's the other fun fact on that one, is we picked that one up as an
Yeah, no, I love
expired.
that.
So
So other than, okay, so you really do focus mostly on location lifestyle. So ideally your formula is like start within the neighborhood, like what is so specific about this particular neighborhood, then widen it out a little bit to the local community. And then where do you go from there? Like kind of what's the flow of a video script for you?
So then so once I have a general concept, I mean, I have been known to plug it into ChatGPT sometimes too and say, hey, ChatGPT, like, come up with something for me, help me out, and we'll have this back and forth conversation. It's kind of creepy. But I do have a couple like non-negotiables. So it always starts with a hook on the front end. And the hook is usually tied to the story. So what's the problem that the person's feeling, and we use that as the hook. But you will always see that the video starts with me. And I think videographers will need that direction because they love to take drone footage and like drone into the house, and that is just far too slow for Instagram. It needs to be you, your face, and you talking. So that's a must for me always. And then I will usually script out a full shot list. So again, videographers are really good at like getting the lenses right and the shot to look good. They're not always good with the creativity. So I will write it out, in one shot, I'm saying this. I try to keep my on-camera parts to about 2 lines at the most, because I find if you don't, you're gonna go like deer in the headlights. You're gonna lose your personality. And then your video is gonna fall flat. So I always come up with a shot list and I will intermix me on camera, 2 to 3. I've gotten better. I can pull off like more 3 sentences usually, but then I will use voiceover. So I'll be on camera, I'll be speaking, and then I'll use voiceover so I can still portray the features of the home. It's just not on me to stand in front of the camera and like walk you around.